Welcome everybody to the week 3 instant reaction. My name is Cade Nissen from My Football. Quick note before we start, my internet has been really bad lately, cutting in and out. So if I cut out randomly, it's my internet. I'm gonna try and get back on, but it's being fixed tomorrow, so might just have to schedule this later. But good to see so many of you in here, 20 people right now. I want you to leave a comment. We're gonna be letting you guys decide where this stream goes. Really, I don't have a script. I just got back from ADM Lewis Central. What a game. Holy cow. Obviously, the silver lining, Brevin Dole goes down with a scary injury. Did not look good. Really hoping he can get back on the field for his senior year. But Lewis Central, hell of a victory. My goodness, that was a crazy game. Curtis Whitty really putting the Titans on his back, man. He was so much fun to watch. Obviously, the returning receiving yards leader in Class 4A last year really put on a show. I don't have his official numbers, but I have a ton of clips of him. Excited to make something cool from that game. But we're going to let you guys decide where the stream goes. So leave a comment. I'm going to start reading them. James, bus ride back from a 55-7 dub at Waverly. Yes, Bondurant Farrar making a statement. I mean, flipping the script to Waverly, talk about a tough first 3 games for Waverly. You go Xavier, and then you go North Scott, and now you get Bondurant Farrar. So Waverly, really tough 3 games out of the gate, but Bondurant and Titus Crim, I'm sure he had some monstrous numbers. 55-7 looks like that final. Lewis Central on top from Braden. Heck yeah, crazy game. Really impressed with Brady Hetzel. Really impressed with all that as ADM's time at number 1 might be short-lived for right now. Lewis Central with a huge victory. Rock Rapids, I see Jocelyn Wissink. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But Rock Rapids, home of Central Lion, GLR football. Let's see how they did. The number 1 team in Class 2A, off the top of my head, I believe. They had West Sioux. No score in on Bound yet. Bedford beat Lennox 41-30. Oh my goodness. Bedford fans have been all over our Instagram comments saying they deserve to be higher. And you know what? They go out and they beat the number 3 team in Class 8 man by 11 in Lennox. Lennox is a good team. So Bedford, that just proves that all the more. Heck of a victory for Bedford. I'm guessing you're going to see them in our top 10 this week. Start with Creston. Yeah, holy cow. Not only does Creston winning significantly against Ballard tonight make a statement, but Lewis Central going and beating the number 1 team in 4A, ADM, just after losing to Creston. So what does that say about Creston? Brendan Hayes at the helm of that squad. Yeah, that team is scary. Creston, they're gonna climb again in 3A, and yeah, they're gonna be a ton of fun. Looks like we got stats in for that one too. Cale Turner, if that's correct, that's got to be on the season. Yeah, it is on the season. Cale Turner, Brendan Hayes. I mean, they've got some stars in Creston, and they're kind of sneaky just where they're at in the state of Iowa, kind of hidden over there. But they've got some nice wins already, and that's going to be a scary team to look out for. 70-7 against West Sioux. Thank you for that score. That is not inbound yet, but I'm sure they'll get that. They're really good at getting those scores in. Heck of a win, obviously. Reese Vanderzee, Graham Eben, 2 Iowa commits. They are probably the team to beat in that class. Van Meter, whoa. Speaking of the team to beat, Van Meter, the number 2 team in Class 2A with a 52-14 stomping of Humboldt. Humboldt, a class above them and ranked in the top 10. That was a game that I think a lot of us had our eyes on. I think a lot of us probably thought Van Meter goes into Humboldt and wins that game, but by a score of 52-14, I don't know if many of us saw that one. Ben Gordon, obviously the star of Van Meter, the leading returning rushing yards leader from Class 1A last year. So Van Meter, huge win. 1 and 2 look like they're going to stay strong at those positions next week in the Class 2A poll. Yep, I see that. Yep, thank you. Central Lion, George Little Rock, 70-7 over West Sioux. Yes, Creston beats Ballard. Yes, Creston is a scary team to look out for. But again, we're going to let you guys kind of drive this stream until my internet crashes inevitably. It's been having some trouble. But yeah, drop a comment on the YouTube live stream, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're tuning in from. Who should we talk about? I want to know who had some big games tonight, who performed well. One guy I'll talk about quickly while I wait for some comments to roll in is Aiden Flora in a losing effort, man. Brevendole goes down in the second quarter, and Aiden Floor just about willed that team into a victory over Lewis Central. Obviously, could not get it done at the end. Had a few shots, ADM with a few 2-minute drives, and ended up with some picks. But yeah, Curtis Whitty and company was just a little too much to handle. I was really impressed with them on both sides of the ball, and that's quickly, they're at number 7, and that's really only because of a loss to Creston. That we know that team is better. It's just kind of how the polls work. You got to knock them down after a loss like that. But Lewis Central proved tonight that they are the same Lewis Central that we have seen the last few years, and they are one of the, if not the contender in Class 4A after tonight. Heck of a victory on the road at ADM, hostile environment, back and forth game, 38-31. Very entertaining on both sides of the ball. And Lewis Central, yeah, just making a huge statement. No, I did not see the tweet Ballard put out. But yeah, looking for more comments from you guys. Looking to drive this Southeast Polk. Yes, Justin Duckworth. They are number one. They're not should be number one. They are number one. And Class 5A is pretty obviously. I hate saying theirs to lose because you have teams up there, Dowling and Johnson going to be a contender, and Kennedy with a nice win tonight. So I hate saying it's theirs to lose, but they're in the driver's seat right now in Class 5A. I think that's pretty obvious. Them and Dowling on their heels, but opening up a brand new stadium and absolutely putting on a show over Prairie. Heck of a win. But yeah, super impressive stuff. And they just week in, week out, we just wonder what team is going to really put up a fight against them. And besides Valley, we haven't quite seen that yet. So it's going to be interesting down the road who really gives them a test the rest of the way. Central Line went crazy this week. Yes, we talked about them. 70-7 is pretty wild for Central Line, Georgia Little Rock. But yeah, just kind of scrolling through Bound right now, waiting for some comments to roll in. Should Creston be number one? Probably not number one, but you're going to see them jump. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in our top 5. I'm not the ranker for all classes. I'm kind of the message man in between it all. So if I had to guess, you're going to see a jump out of Creston, especially with Lewis Central. That win over Lewis Central is going to help boost their stock the rest of the way. So really impressive stuff. It looks like if that is final, Xavier 20-20 over Western Dubuque. It's inbound. I don't know if that's final. But if it is, that's a huge bounce back victory for the Saints over number 3 Western Dubuque. Let's see. Looking for more comments. Who performed well tonight? I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Wherever you're from. Small school, big school, does not matter. Talking about small schools, Winfield Mount Union really putting a statement tonight, holding Waco to 8 points. Now 34-8 in any other class is pretty typical, but an 8-man, that's pretty unheard of for a top 5 matchup. Those schools, that was obviously a dogfight tonight over there at Winfield, and Cam Buffington looks like he made a statement, and that team they're number 2. Winfield Mount Union was number 2. Waco was number 5 in our poll. So Winfield's definitely going to hold down that number 2 spot, and Gladbrook Rhinebeck obviously right above them. That's going to be a nice 1-2 matchup in a really competitive 8-man field. Dyke New Hartford, they lost to Osage. Yes, Osage. They're up 14-0. Dyke New Hartford, man. They've also had an absolute gauntlet of a first three games. Grundy Center, obviously, then West Branch, and now Osage. Osage is a class above them, so I don't know how much that really hurts them. Dyke New Hartford, obviously, that's the first game where either team has hit double digits, and even tonight it was 15-14. So Dyke New Hartford loves those low scoring just battles. So yes, Osage picks up a very nice win. That's a 2A school over a 1A school. So, and Osage, I believe, was in our top 10, sitting at number 8, number 9, somewhere around there towards the back half. But yeah, more scores. Creston, 48-28. Yes, Briar, we've been talking about Creston a lot. They look good. They look scary. That's a team in Class 3A that's rising quickly, and really no signs of slowing down before district play. Again, nice win for Creston over Ballard tonight. Let's see what else we got. We talked about Van Meter. How about Kennedy, number 14 in Class 5A, a few tough losses to start the year, and they get a game at Linmar against a team in our top five. Linmar was number 4, and they put the hurting on them, 34-0. Obviously, Vincenzo Gianforte and Cyrus Courtney, two of the top threats in Class 5A at their positions. But Cedar Rapids Kennedy, want to give a shout out to them. Heck of a victory, their first victory of the year, and that's a team that's just getting going over there. Let's see, Woodbury Central, man, wanted them to make a statement. They've kind of won 2 close games in the first few weeks, and tonight they get a shot against Logan Magnolia, a team in our top 15 and rising pretty quickly. And Woodbury Central really put the hurting on them, 39-14. I know Drew Klunder has had some success over Logan Magnolia, and that's a pretty good one. Really, John Warrington with a bomb. I did not realize that West Hancock lost tonight. It's not unbound, so I'm not sure if that's official, but if it is, St. Ansgar 24, West Hancock 15. That is massive. St. Ansgar got a home game against the number 1 team in Class A, West Hancock, the reigning runner-ups. They returned 2 1,000-yard backs and quarterback Mitchell Smith, a great leader. And if that's true, St. Ansgar with a massive win, and that's going to cause a lot of shifting in that Class A poll. West Hancock, a team I was high on. I really like them. I kind of thought Class A's was there to lose, and I could have seen them running the table. Obviously losing to Grundy Center and Grundy Center jumping up a class, but wow, John, good call there, John Warrington. St. Ansgar 24, West Hancock 15. That would be a bombshell if that was true. Grundy Center, Jackson says, yes, we had our representative for us there, and I know that was 31-0 at one point. Grundy Center, been kind of, they got out the gate slow against Dyke New Hartford, winning 7-6. They come out next the week 2 against Applington Parkersburg and really kind of put it to a top team in Class 1A, and then they get a shot against Pella Christian, who was really coming out the gates hot, and the number 3 team in our IF football polls. And Grundy Center looks like they put a hurting on the number 3 team and kind of solidify themselves as a true perennial in Class 1A. Obviously, Colin Gordon at the helm, a tremendous athlete for them. And yeah, Grundy Center, wow, they did make a huge statement. How about them Titans? Landon, love it. Yes, Lewis Central looked very good tonight. That was just a fun game. I think it was what we expected, back and forth, high scoring affair. I think if you would have asked me beforehand, I would have said it was going to be 45-42. It ended up 38-31. Aiden Flora and Curtis Whitty just felt like they were throwing jabs all night long, going back and forth. Whoever had the ball, you knew they were going to make a play, and neither defense could seem to really have a rhythm until the end, where Lewis Central picked off Flora twice to end it. But yes, Lewis Central, very, very impressive, and you're going to see that team jump really high. I mean, if thinking about the Class 4A poll, I don't have our Class 4A poll. I'm just going to be going kind of off the top of the head. You have ADM at 1, loses. They're going to drop out of it. Xavier just beat, looks like, Western Dubuque 22-20. Xavier might be right back in at the number 1 spot. And Lewis Central, I mean, you got to throw them way up there. Obviously, beating the number 1 team, that's an easy top 5 team, in my opinion. Obviously, depending on where the other 4A schools, I think North Scott won pretty handily tonight, so they're gonna probably hold down their spot. Kyler Girardi just seems like a ball of energy every time he touches the field. I'm really wanting to get my camera over there and film him. We'll go to the comments again. I'm going to be reading your guys' comments. I have zero script. I have Bound pulled up. I want you guys to drop some teams that you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about them until my internet crashes. I'm surprised this made it this far, honestly. Class A, MMCRU beats HMS for the first time in school history, 42-14. Congrats to the Royals, I believe. That's their mascot, Hartley Melvin Sanborn. Yes, that game is not inbound yet, I don't see, but 42-14, MMCRU moves to 1-1 on the year. Obviously with wins over Galen Catholic. Yeah, congrats to Class A's MMCRU, first time in school history. Always cool when you can do something like that. I was waiting for someone to bring that up, Rich. Webster City. My goodness. I always check my phone while I'm filming games, and I saw North Pole got up 14 to nothing fairly early, and I was like, wow, that's going to be a kind of a statement made by the comments, and let alone I see at the end of my game, Webster City and Jackson Cherry come back. What do you know? And I think that just proves the type of football that Webster City plays. They don't care if they're down 2 possessions, 3 possessions. They're going to stick to their running the ball. And I'm guessing Jackson Cherry had another massive game. But yes, congrats to Webster City. That's a massive win against a top 5 team in a class above them. So definitely a head turner. And gosh, I'm just thinking in my head about the polls coming out on Monday. I always do that on IA Sports on YouTube. But again, if you're not subscribed to IA Sports on YouTube, be sure to go do that. I personally drop the rankings that our rankers do on Monday. I kind of explain it so I can kind of give you guys an idea of where our rankers' heads are at. So be sure to go subscribe over there, and you can catch that on Monday. Didn't read, yeah. I guess not half, but they did lose a significant back in Brevendel. That was tough to see early in the second quarter. I know a safety went down for them in the third quarter. I don't remember their name, but ADM has a ton of star power. Even it stinks saying it, but even without Dole, they still got Flora, they still got Forgy, they still got Steinsmith. So yeah, a few significant injuries, but in the end, that's kind of football, and that's how it goes. But again, Flora shine for ADM, but they fall just short to Lewis Central, 38-31. Linville Sully beat Pleasantville. That's you got a final score on that one, Ethan? I'll talk about it though, if that's the case. I mean, Linville Sully, they lose quarter down harder, which was a huge hit. I saw on his Twitter, he said he was going to be back before the playoffs. So that's great news. But obviously losing him for the regular season is not ideal. And Pleasantville was a kind of a rising team, and I saw some people taking them over our Class A number 2 team. But according to Ethan, Linville Sully gets it done. I'm gonna see who else do they got. Even the first few weeks, nothing crazy out of Linville Sully stats wise. A few pretty dominant wins. Looks like they got 2 quarterbacks: Landon Montgomery, Lucas Sick. But yeah, quarter down harder. They're losing. He had 115 yards in the first 2 games. So they lose him for the regular season, for most of the regular season, it seems like. But they still got CJ Nickel. I mean, he had just as many yards. It looked like Linville Sully's kind of got some guys that can step up while quarter heals up and can get the job done. 36-28, you think? All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, big win there for Linville Sully if that's the case. Again, drop more comments. I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. I did see Madrid with a huge win over Mount Air. That's a team IA football is really high on. Madrid, I know we're getting some flack for having them that high, but they just keep winning. It's hard to knock them down, and they just keep on winning. So, how about Gladbrook Rhinebeck? 90 to nothing over Meskwaki Settlement, the number 1 team in Class 8, man. Does not seem like they are going to be dropping it all this week. Again, Gladbrook Rhinebeck, Isaac Clark and company, 90 to nothing. MFL Marmac, a comeback win over New Hampton. I did see they were down a little bit in that game at some point. I don't remember exactly when or what was the score. But MFL Marmac, nice come from behind win over New Hampton. 2 ranked 2A schools, MFL Marmac at number 2 and New Hampton at number 15, if I recall off the top of my head correctly. MFL Marmac and Wyatt Powell and company. They got some firepower, and their ground attack is going to win them a lot of games, and it does just that tonight. Cherokee Washington moves to 3-0 tonight, 42-21 win over Ridgeview. Yes, Michael, I love it. Cherokee was our team of the week, actually, in Class 2A. So, yes, Cherokee. I couldn't find a pic. I was trying to make a graphic. I could not find a single picture of Cherokee Washington current players. So, Michael, if you know where I can get any of those, please let me know, because it sounds like I might be needing them because they're just going to keep climbing in our polls. Yeah, Justin, we just talked about it. I think you just missed it. St. Ansgar beating a number 1 team. We got two number 1 teams falling, if I can recall correctly. ADM and West Hancock. I think West Hancock was a bit more of a shocker, but both extremely impressive. nonetheless. Let's see, I'm just checking my phone, trying to get caught up on some scores and whatnot. Again, I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Drop a comment. Who had a big night tonight? We're gonna be posting some scores tomorrow, some stats tomorrow. So, any highlights you guys have, any stats you think are worth posting, any school records, we want to know about that. It's impossible for us and our limited resources to keep track with everything amongst all classes. So yes, please, please DM us anywhere and everywhere you can find IA football. Waiting for Bound to update. Yeah, Justin. Love that one. Justin Hammond's Winfield Mount Union over Waco by a lot. Again, yeah, we just did talk about that one. That's a significant victory. Winfield Mount Union really kind of making a huge statement in class in class 8 man, and really kind of putting a stomping ground into the top 2. I don't see them going anywhere for a while in that 8-man poll. So congrats there to Winfield Mount Union. And you said Grundy Center. Grundy Center losing Waco by a lot, and Grundy Center losing by a lot. I thought Grundy Center beat Pella Christian by a lot. Did I get that flipped around? I don't think it's inbound yet. No, I gotta. I thought Grundy Center won that game by a lot, but I could have gotten that flipped around pretty easily. But yeah, any more scores? We got 16 people in here. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, follow IA Football, IA Sports on YouTube. Got tons of content coming your way. I'm just glad my internet's made it this far, to be honest. But just hopping inbound, scrolling through. Sean Bach, what do you make of the St. Edmund Baxter game? Well, let's pull up the score, Sean. It's not inbound, Sean Bach. So if you could drop that final score, I will gladly give you my insight on St. Edmund and Baxter. Grundy won 38-6. Thanks, Tyler. Hope you're doing well. You taking pictures there? Grundy with a big win. Linville solely over Pleasantville, 36-27. Thank you, Becca. Again, yeah, we just talked about that. A quarter noun harderless Linville solely team gets a nice victory. They prove that they can still win over quality teams. Pleasantville is a very quality team, so that's a nice win for Linville solely and the Hawks. They were number 2 in our class A poll, and looks like they're gonna hold that spot down just fine for the time being. Heck, I mean, Class A. I mean, love your guys' opinion here. Who should be number 1 in Class A with West Hancock losing? You got St. Ansgar at number 8 making a big win. You got Madrid at number 3 with a nice win over Mount Ayr, who now is a new member in our poll. Linville solely, that's a candidate for the number 1 team. I mean, Class A is going to be interesting. Our rankers are going to have a tough time figuring out who could be number 1 there. Sounds like there's multiple schools that could easily be a part of that. Baxter won. Baxter picks up the win over St. Edmund. Thank you, at Dodger Stadium. No, sir. It was at Iowa City West for the first half, and then Liberty versus Pleasant Valley. Yeah, I saw Liberty. Liberty really put the hurting on Pleasant Valley, didn't they, Tyler? I was following that game on Twitter. That's a team out east in Class 5A. Obviously, Liberty, their first year in Class 5A. Or did Pleasant Valley win that 49-30? It says 49-33 on Bound, Pleasant Valley. So I guess I won't talk about it until I know the final score, because I don't want to ramble if the team ended up losing. How about Norwalk? Just kind of scrolling through Bound. Norwalk. They've kind of come out of nowhere in our Class 4A rankings, and they get a nice win over a top 10 Newton team at Newton. I think that was 11 versus 8. Norwalk 11, Newton 8. So Norwalk is quickly rising as a possible contender in that class. Liberty lost by 3 scores. Oh, okay. I'll talk about it the other way then. Pleasant Valley. Yeah, Pleasant Valley with a nice win. I know they got shut out against Bettendorf pretty bad. Yeah, they lost 30-10. And then they bounced back, beat Kennedy last week by 1 in double overtime. So yeah, PV 2 wins in a row. Quality win, 56 points to Liberty's 39. Looks like that was a high scoring game. A ton of great offense in that one. And gosh, the east side Class 5A is just kind of a mess right now. You got Cedar Falls coming to Centennial and kind of getting whooped, and now Pleasant Valley kind of emerging as a possible contender out of the east side. I mean, you got to talk about them. I like Kennedy. Obviously, I went and watched Kennedy. So I don't know. I love your guys' take. Who out of the east side? I mean, you got Cedar Falls, Pleasant Valley, Kennedy, Linn-Mar, City High, ton of schools out east. I mean, that's kind of a jumble of a bunch of teams beating up on themselves. So yeah, good point. Pleasant Valley picks up a nice 17-point win over Iowa City Liberty tonight. Where's Fox? Fox is on his way home from Grundy Center. It was a high-scoring 3.5-hour game. Yeah, well, when you keep putting points on the board like that, they got to keep stopping the clock. Yeah, two teams who like to throw it too. Graham Beckman, obviously, and Liberty. Matt, any updates on Storm Lake versus Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson? I can try. Council Bluffs Jefferson. That's a 26-24 final for Council Bluffs Jefferson, Matt. So hope that answers your question there. Yeah, we're going strong. Half an hour in. Again, love to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Waiting on some scores to pop into bound. Just kind of relaxing. No notes. I'm just kind of letting the comments kind of drive this. Moravia picking up a nice win. Almost getting upset by Belle Plaine. 53-46. That one goes final. Applington Parkersburg, nice win. Bounce back over South Hardin, 35-26. Creston beat Ballard. Yes, Lane. We've talked about Creston a lot tonight. Creston obviously picking up a nice 20-point win over Ballard a week after beating Lewis Central. So no slump there. That was 26-13 in third. Okay, sweet. Yeah, love when you guys are engaging. Love the comments. I can talk about just about anybody, but yeah, some big scores from tonight still coming in. UNI or Weber State tomorrow. Probably UNI bounce back after losing to the Clones. I don't know much about Weber State though. I'm not gonna lie. So my knowledge there is not as high. How about Bettendorf? We'll talk about them for a little bit. Coming to the Des Moines area and beating Urbandale 41-10. Bettendorf, I guess I didn't even mention them when talking about the East Side 5A schools. They're 3-0 right now. Wins over Pleasant Valley, Davenport West, and now Urbandale. So that might be the team. That might be one of the teams out east you got to kind of look out for. Bettendorf. I'm going to look at the rest of their schedule. Who do they got? Dubuque Hempstead, and they get a matchup with Kennedy, Prairie, Iowa City High. So tons of quality games left for the Bulldogs. But I mean, a really good start at 3-0, and I know they'll just keep climbing in our rankings. Iowa City West only winning 42-20 after being up 28-0 at half is crazy to me. Yeah, they had Muscatine, I believe. I was following that game on Twitter. Yeah, Iowa City West. Nevertheless, I mean, a bounce back win over Muscatine after losing to Urbandale last week. Can I share my pick on the Cyhawk game tomorrow, Matt? Well, I'm a UI grad, so just graduated from the University of Iowa last winter. So I know where my heart wants it to be, but the Cyhawk game scares me no matter what. So I'll pick the Hawks. We'll keep it on the record for the 15 people in here. I'll go 20-14 Hawks. There you go. there's your official score prediction. 41-6, number 13 Solon over number 12 Central DeWitt. Nicholas Fox, thank you. I know you were in here last time. Yes, that's a big victory. Solon, just they lose the week 1 game against Davenport Assumption. Kind of a eye opener, I'd say. And then they bounce back with two wins last week over Clear Creek Amana, where they only won 7-3, and then this week they pop off for 41 against Central DeWitt. A good Central DeWitt team too. Like you said, that team's ranked. No stats in there yet. I can't imagine, but Brett White and company look like they had a nice night offensively. Yes, Matt. Yeah, I'll be watching. That's for sure. I'm excited. Well, excited and nervous, as I'm sure you are too. Becca, what was the score in the Mount Air Madrid game? Looks like Madrid Linville Soli could be Is that a matchup next week? Ooh, I like it. Madrid and Linville Soli square off. Madrid won 36-35, I believe, over Mount Air. So, yeah, that's a potential. I mean, assuming Wes Hancock drops out of the 1 spot, you could see, like, you could easily make a case for Linville, Soli, and Madrid each jumping up a spot. That could be number 1 versus number 2 next week. I'm gonna see where that game is, but I didn't know they played next week. That's a huge game. Yeah, you're right. Madrid, Linville, Soli at Linville, Soli. So definitely a top 3 matchup. Could be number 1 versus number 2 next week. In Class A. Wow. Good call on that one. Just catching up on some scores. And some text. Tyler Myers, look for Muscatine to bounce back next week. Oh, Kozad was out. I guess I didn't know that. Yeah, Ty Kozad, one of the more elite running backs in the state. I know he suffered a hamstring injury. Last week he had like 2 rushes for 100 yards, and then he got hurt. That's Linville Soli's homecoming game next week. Wow. That might be one I have to think about bringing my camera to. I want to be able to hit some smaller schools. I don't want to just live in the Class 5A, Class 4A world. So that might be one I consider. Linville, Soli, and Madrid again next week. But yeah, kind of turning the corner here on our week 3 instant reaction. Any final, any thoughts? Anything? I mean, I want to know who stood out, what scores. I mean, teams or individual players. I want to hear what you guys got to say. Let's see. I'll find one to ramble about until someone drops a comment. Yeah, North Scott, their score just got in 42-28 over Davenport Assumption. Kyler Girardi, obviously the star in that one. Angelo Jackson, a really good running back from Davenport Assumption. He's had a great start to his season. City High, that game just went in the mini Cyhawk Trophy. So Matt, I mean, if you take that into account, I wonder what the record is when City High or Ames wins, and then correlate that to the actual game. But if they do align, then the Hawks are looking good, because the Little Hawks, a 49-28 win over Ames, they get their first win of the year. We were looking for them to kind of bounce back and get their feet underneath them, and that's what they do tonight at Ames, taking home the Little Cyhawk Trophy. And again, yeah, Iowa City High, nice win. It's kind of what we were expecting, I'd say, if you had to guess, but yeah, Nevada with a nice win over PCM, 27-7. Nevada, they're kind of I'm going to kind of claim them as my like dark horse in Class 3A for right now. They're sitting at number 7, number 8. But Williamsburg beats Clear Creek Amana. My Clippers 49-20. Williamsburg just I'd say the steamroll continues. I mean, that team is obviously picks up the big win over Xavier last week, and I don't know if there's really any turning back. I mean, Fort Madison, South Tama, Fairfield, Solon, that could be a good one. Grinnell, Benton. I mean, I don't know if I see a true shot at a loss until either Solon, which I think they still win that, and then Benton in their final game. Benton obviously had a big game tonight. I don't know what that final is thinking of, but yeah, Williamsburg, they could be well on their way to a not only a great season, but like a historical season in that sense. But Benton, gonna see if I can get a final score. Now, Ballinger says 13-7 in the second quarter. Mount Vernon was leading, so if anyone's got a Benton score, I'd appreciate that. Williamsburg Solon should be a good game. Yeah, I don't know. I want it to be a good game, but Williamsburg just they're impressive right now, and I don't know if I see somebody really holding them back. I mean, Tyler, if you're comparing apples to apples, Williamsburg beats Clear Creek Amana by 29 tonight, and Clear Creek Amana and Solon was 7-3. I know that's not the greatest way to base things off of, but Williamsburg and Solon, I hope it's a good matchup. I hope someone gives them a test, but the win over Xavier was just really eye opening. And speaking of, we'll transition into Xavier picking up a 22-20 win over Western Dubuque, a perfect bounce back spot, as Nick Fox and I talked about in our preview show, which you can see on IE Sports every week on Thursdays. But Xavier, obviously, they lose to Williamsburg, kind of in a heartbreaker and a shocker, and they bounce back and they get a shot against the number 3 team in Western Dubuque. So don't see Xavier going anywhere, and honestly, they're probably your number 1 team in Class 4A after ADM falling. So Xavier's right back into the thick of things. I mean, no one really expected them to totally fall off, and they 100% did not do that. So um, yeah, Xavier with a nice win. Kind of turning the corner to the end here. We're at 41 minutes. Lane, week 4 predictions. Carroll versus Creston. Well, Lane, I was a Carroll High grad, so I'm biased there. Obviously, Creston's a very good team, and they're proven to be a top, probably 5 team, I'd say, in Class 3A. So that's going to be a good one. I won't give you a prediction, though. Solon found offense this week, yeah. Oh, you were at the game last week. Yeah, 7-3 can be kind of tough. I love defensive battles, though, but for picture taking and video taking, it's not much fun. Benton lost 19-7. Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good fight. I know they're not going to love taking a loss, but I think Mount Vernon and Williamsburg are a clear 1-2 in 3A. So that's not a bad loss by any means. And Benton, big running attack. They could be a threat to Williamsburg towards the end of the year. Those teams that love to run the ball and chew the clock can just be demoralizing to top teams that love to get their hands on the ball. Woodbury Central beat Logan Magnolia 39-14. Yes, Michael. We briefly talked about that before, but I'll go ahead and again. Woodbury Central started the year at number 3 in Class A for us at the IA football polls. They've dropped a little bit the first few weeks just because they haven't been as dominant as we were kind of looking for, but they did that this week. Logan Magnolia, a very good team coming off a win against Kingsley Pearson. So Logan Magnolia, I'm sure Drew Clunder had a great game, scoring 39 points. He's probably the best quarterback in Class A off the top of my head, I'd say. So yes, Woodbury Central, a nice, impressive win over Logan Magnolia. Kind of getting more people in here. Again, if you're new, looking to talk about what you guys want to talk about, drop a comment on our YouTube live stream, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're watching from. I want to talk about players that you saw tonight. I was at Lewis Central ADM, saw a great game, a 38-31 victory for the Titans. It was a ton of fun. You guys are going to see tons of reels from it coming up soon. So, but yes, want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. So drop something for me as we kind of turn the page. At 43 minutes, I always aim for about an hour on this. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but we're kind of turning the corner. Remsen St. Mary's 34-18 over West Bend Mallard. Remsen St. Mary seems to be just fine after losing. It seems like everybody from their squad last year. Kingsley Pearson, just talked about them. Nice 25-13 win over Westwood. Underwood, a stomping of St. Albert. Underwood, one of those teams in Class 1A to just keep your eye out on. They're kind of hanging out right around the top 5. 45-0 win over St. Albert tonight. Nice win for them. I'm gonna refresh bound and kind of get you guys the final lowdown. Anything that I see that pops off. To my East County, their debut in the top 10 went well tonight. 24-12 win. Excuse me. I guess we'll try. I'm gonna pull up a clip. We're gonna try this out. I wanted to try this last week. Couldn't get it. I could not get it to save my life. But I'm gonna kind of show you guys some of my clips I liked from tonight. I got Curtis Whitty. I don't know if he's in. Right here. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. I don't know what this is gonna look like, so bear with me. I don't do this a ton. Oh, there we go. But I want to do it. Okay, I'll do it like this. Curtis Whitty just had an absolute day. I want to make sure I mute this. Right here. Sorry. All right, it's muted now. Yeah. Brady Hetzel, the new quarterback at Lewis Central. Look at this, just a bomb to Curtis Whitty. Sorry, I had to ramp it. Oh, sorry. But yeah, slowing down in slow-mo for you guys. I didn't even mean to do that. But yeah, Brady Hetzel to Curtis Whitty was a common theme tonight, as you can see. I mean, just a perfect ball right in stride. It's a little gray because I shoot like that, so I can color it myself. But Curtis Whitty just having a night. I don't know what his stats were, but he had to have, I mean, at least 7 catches for 150 and a few scores. I think he had 2 touchdowns, but just a heck of a night from him. But again, any final thoughts, comments from anybody around the state? Harlan seems just reloading. You think they can make another deep run? Yeah, nice win over Glenwood, a class bigger than them. So that was an impressive win, no doubt. Glenwood and Caden Anderson, obviously they're going to be good in 4A. But yeah, Harlan just seems to reload, and whatever quarterback's at the helm, he's going to throw for 300. It feels like just about every game. And Cade Sears is an elite threat. They returned him from last year, and he's been a big part of their success. But I mean, yeah, as Curtis Whitty's still celebrating for you right here. But yeah, monster day for him. As Lewis Central picks up a nice win over ADM. I'll show you guys another one while you guys are here. We're getting some viewers in, so might as well. But yeah, so if you guys didn't know, I'm the guy that makes all the reels and most of the graphics. I got some help from Nick Fox, who's a great guy to help me out. But I love going out and shooting games. So any game that you guys think I should go out and shoot next week, be sure to let me know. I love doing that part as much as anything else. So also got I'm just scrolling through finding some clips. This is a cool one. Yeah, Lewis Central's running back was out. I don't know if he got hurt or something, but this is a cool shot. He ran literally right in front of me. Good win for North Scott. Tough game. Ooh, North Scott Western Dubuque. That will be a good game next week. I love it. Kyler Girardi's a stud. But yeah, Lewis Central tonight, big win. I think we'll kind of wrap up with that. Any final thoughts? Might be a little biased. Grundy Center goes back to back. That'd be impressive with the new classification. When's the last time you've seen that, a team go back to back, jumping up a class? That would be very impressive. But I think I'm going to call it. We're at about 10 viewers, about our lowest point tonight. I think people are kind of getting ready for bed and getting ready for a Cy-Hawk game tomorrow. But nevertheless, I appreciated talking to you guys. I love doing this. Be sure to follow IA Football on socials, IA Sports on YouTube and their socials as well. You can always go back and rewatch this. Just go over to YouTube, IA Sports, and click on the live section. It's kind of hidden, but live on IA Sports YouTube, you can go back and rewatch this. And I talked about it a ton. I talked about it as much as I could. Again, I love you guys' comments and appreciate all you guys for doing that. Had a ton of fun and excited for another great week next week. But rankings out on Monday on IA Sports on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to IA Sports on YouTube so you don't miss that, because there's going to be a ton of movement and probably a few new number ones. So yeah, have a safe night, everybody. And happy Cyhawk week. Going to be a ton of fun tomorrow. But catch you guys later.